Hey y'all, Paul C. Torina here. I am so damn healthy and so damn happy, and I'm fitter than I've ever been in my entire life. And I am so passionate about sharing this information with other people. I'm just really thankful to be on this path and to be in this position of being able to educate and guide people through processes and experimentations and to nudge people in the right direction. I'm truly thankful for it. I'm living the dream. Like, I love every bit of my life. It's crazy. Like, I have chaotic days. I have what would be considered stressful days. We're trying to build a business. We're trying to empower people. We feel very responsible for other people. So there's a lot of challenges associated with that. But it's great. Like, all of it's great. And I know that the reason that all of it is great is not necessarily because of what I'm doing, but because of how I feel while I'm doing it. So I'm very thankful to be in this position for sure. I love every bit of my life. I love every bit of every day, the goods, the bads, the ups and downs and everything else. But what I really love and I'm truly thankful for above and beyond everything else is I know what I need to do to feel amazing. I know what I need to do to be healthy. I don't question it anymore. And that's the gift that we want to share with people. Now, there are many foundational concepts that we need to learn and implement in order to feel amazing and have optimal health and longevity and quality of life. But the best thing that you can do to give you the quickest results, that's going to give you the most bang for buck, is figuring out real food. What is real food? How do we implement real food? You figure that out and you're going to look, feel, and perform more amazing than you ever have in your entire life. But this is so much bigger and broader than that. This is a crucial matter because what we're really talking about here is optimal health, longevity, and quality of life. It's about not being a burden to others as we get older to the degree that we can help it. It's about not being under the care of the medical system as we get older to the degree that we can help it. It's about staving off things like chronic degenerative disease, cancer, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. It's just a much bigger picture. It's a crucial matter. And guess what? When you figure out real food, when you learn what real food is and how to implement it, not only are you going to look, feel, and perform more amazing than you ever have in your life, not only are you going to be setting yourself up for success later in life, it's going to be the catalyst for other great things in your life. Because I mentioned before, the reason that I feel so freaking amazing every day is because I have all these different lifestyle factors dialed in. Real food was the catalyst to all those great things. And it doesn't matter what you have going on in your life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what your issues are. When you feel better, you can deal with all those different things differently. And the catalyst, the prerequisite, the preface to all that stuff is going to be figuring out real food. Now, the problem is there's so much confusion about what we're supposed to eat. And then it gets even more complicated when you start to talk about how to implement real food. And we deal with this and we see it all day, every day. Everyone thinks they need some kind of a complicated, restrictive food protocol that's going to be this silver bullet. And you start to see things pop up and get a lot of popularity like vegan and paleo and low carb and ketogenic. Now, the reality is that real food is so much more simple, it's so much more elegant, it's so much more amazing than any one of these pigeonholed methodologies. Things like vegan and paleo and low carb and keto, like, we've been there and done that. We're experts in those things, but they tend to get really dogmatic. In our opinion, they're way too restrictive over the long term. These are subsets of real food that can be used therapeutically as interventions, but over the long term, you want to have this bigger, broader picture of what real food actually is. And you also want to learn and understand what components and aspects of real food work best for you. Now, our focus when eating real food is, number one, we focus on nutrients versus calories. Nutrients are what the body uses to contribute to structure, function, and form. So certainly I need nutrients to build my body, but nutrients are also the precursors to all the metabolic and biochemical processes inside the body. And so if I can eat food that has a lot of nutrients, then those nutrients are going to a lot of different purposes inside my body. And the term calorie is almost irrelevant because calorie is assessing food based on the amount of energy that we can derive from it. But the reality is that if I eat food that contains a lot of nutrients, I can use it for energy, but those nutrients are going to a lot of different purposes inside the body. The second thing that we focus on when it comes to real food is nurturing what we call self-sufficiency. And self-sufficiency is exactly what it sounds like. We're trying to train the body to be self-reliant, to do its own thing, to be comfortable in space, to be comfortable in the absence of food, and to certainly not be dependent upon glucose, sugar, and starch for energy needs. All right, so ideally over the long term, this transitions into fat burning, but we call it self-sufficiency because it's bigger and broader than that. We're really looking to train the body how to be self-reliant and to learn some kind of a metabolic flexibility to where the body understands how to use fat for fuel at the right times and then how to use glucose for fuel at the right times. Now we have a class coming up called Real Food Basics. And that's almost a misnomer because we cover so much information in this class. This is going to be 1.5 hours of power. And in this class, we're going to talk about some of these popular real food methodologies, but we're going to give you the bigger picture, the broader perspective. We're going to give you a wisdom of understanding what real food is and why all these different real food methodologies work. We're going to talk about what real food is. We're going to talk about how to implement real food, and you're going to understand why we come to those conclusions because we're going to talk about what we call our inputs. And our inputs include looking at ancestral wisdom and learning from our ancestors in evolutionary biology and anthropology and archaeology and pioneers that have gone out and done research on healthy populations. But we also combine that with current relevant science and information, so recent real food methodologies and books and experience and functional medicine practitioners. And then also we combine that with our own personal experience and client experience because we've worked with hundreds of people in our private practice and almost 1,500 people in our group SHTs. You combine all that together and it all really makes sense. You walk away from this with a broader perspective and a bigger wisdom. Now, included in this program, you're going to get a comprehensive guide that also includes journal pages, and you're going to get some shopping lists, and then we're going to throw in a bonus Whole Foods shopping tour where we're going to meet at a Whole Foods and we're going to go through every inch of the store talking about every department and all the different brands and recommendations that we have. This does not mean that you need to shop at Whole Foods. We just use Whole Foods as a demonstration place because the principles that we learn in Whole Foods you can take anywhere. Come join us for this class. Figure out real food for life. Never question what you're supposed to eat again. You may not be perfect with it, but when you go through this class, you're going to understand real food for the rest of your life. I never question what I'm supposed to eat again. None of the people that we work with question what they're supposed to eat again. And then the big thing is, over the long term, like how do I continue to fine-tune and optimize things? But it starts with understanding what real food is and how to implement real food and why we choose those different definitions. Come learn from us. Figure out real food for life. Stop bouncing around from different diet to different diet, just trying to lose weight in the short term. Figure out what you need to do to feel amazing and have optimal health markers for a lifetime.